Are you all frozen? No, I guess not. Okay. So we're going into first aid today, which is what, 102B.3. I'm going to start by just going over a little bit of a blood exposure incident with you. If you cut yourself or if you cut your client, you could cut their ear or something. What you're supposed to do is stop the service. Okay. Put on gloves. Clean the injured area, which could be like an alcohol wipe, soap and water, something like that, and put some white pressure on that area to stop bleeding. Once you do that, you want to cover the injured area with the appropriate dressing, like a Band-Aid, right? Make sure that you take all of those papers from the Band-Aid and any glove or any cotton or anything that might have blood on it and dispose of it. Don't set it down, put it straight into the trash. Then what you're going to want to do is make sure that you disinfect the contaminated items. So disinfect the workstation, get a clean comb or brush or whatever you have, discard your gloves, put on a new glove if you've cut yourself. If you have a cut, you have to have it covered. If you have a cut, you have a scratch, if anything like that, you have to have it covered, right? It has to be covered with a Band-Aid or with a glove, I mean. And then you can continue with the service. Just make sure that we're cleaning everything up. At State Board, you do have a blood exposure operation that you have to do. It's a scenario that you have a minor injury on your finger. It's such that you can continue the service, but they want to see that you know how to discard of any items that might have been contaminated with blood, or and that you know how to properly, keep yourself and keep everyone else healthy or uncontaminated or any of that. So we just need to make sure that we have all of that taken care of. Let me share my screen now with you. And now we're going to do our regular first aid. Have you guys ever done CPR on somebody or dealt with anybody who's fainting or choking or any of that? Yeah, I never have either. I've done bleeding, but that's about it. All right, so we're going to go over choking, eye injury. We've actually had clients faint here. I think one of the things that I saw one time that kind of freaked me out a little bit, because I've never seen this happen before, was someone who was diabetic and didn't have their, I guess she was very incoherent, like almost sliding out of the chair. She had hair color on her hair. We were spraying it off with the towel, trying to get it off her head while we called the paramedics because there just wasn't something right with her. And they gave her a Mountain Dew and she was fine. All right, so there's this thing called a Good Samaritan Law. This is what encourages people to help in situations that are emergency type situations, right? They give people legal protection that help someone who may be too injured to proceed on. The scope of the individual training in an emergency situation, techniques. Apply. Firm pressure. If it's that bad, you're going to call 911 and make sure that you lift heart.
You guys up in here still?
Say again?
Just seeing if you guys are still up in here. Was she lagging on your guys' screen too? She was freezing on mine. Alejandro, did you do the homework?
Yeah, I got done with it last night. Both pages.
Yeah, me too. Did you do all of the 102? The 102 workbook? Did you finish that or no? Damn, good stuff. Good stuff. I'm on electricity and barbering.
I'll finish it today.
The homework or the workbook? What are you gonna finish today, bro?
The workbook, man. It's all that matters.
Not really.
Really?
Fucking Ruben. He says you're
Hey,
going to school.
The workbook, all that matters for Ruben. That's it.
Ruben said, "You're doing all the homework, but I'm getting all the hours." Yeah.
So I don't know what happened. I just had to get on with my phone. So let me get this other stuff up here again. And I'll share the screen with you as soon as I pull this back up. Get back on lab. It's a lot harder to do this on your phone, huh? Okay, get back to Zoom. It won't let me share. Probably because I'm on my phone, huh? Web. No. Screen. No, I don't need to cast it. I'm already recording. Okay, well, I don't know if this is gonna let me share this whiteboard bookmark. I don't think it's gonna let me share on my phone. Let's see what more says. No. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna let me, and this wouldn't let me get on my computer either. Try one more time. Okay, so I'm just gonna turn my camera around so you guys can see the screen this way. Can you see it or is it too small?
Small.
Small? Oh my gosh. What is it doing to me now? Too small?
Not too bad.
Got the wrong thing. Let me get this back up. Let's see. Well, now we're gonna have to improvise. So for bleeding, right? Hold the gauze, elevate the injured arm. Tourniquet. Do you know what a tourniquet is?
Yeah.
Okay, so don't use that. Usually if you use a tourniquet, then that limb has to be amputated. So don't
The
use
tourniquet's one of those things that you use to tie off your arms when you shoot, when you're doing foul stuff, ain't it?
Yeah, so also so that it doesn't, like if it's bleeding, it'll just cut off all circulation to that area. So
Okay.
we don't want to cut and eliminate all of the circulation to that area because, you know, it could, maybe I could hold it this way. It could like kill that limb because there's no circulation there. So we want to make sure that we don't do that too much. So now we're going to go into burns. We have two kinds of burns. We have heat burns and we have chemical burns. Okay, both of them are treated just a little bit differently. Chemical burns are basically from chemicals, right? Like hair color, permanent wave solution, things like us. Even some products that you might have on your hands could actually burn your hands, maybe a gel or something like that. So what you want to do with the chemical burn is you want to just keep rinsing. Make sure that all of the contaminated clothing, all of the product is off the skin. Just rinse it. Just keep rinsing. I mean, you might have to rinse for a few minutes, right? Cover the burn loosely with a dry, clean cloth, and then refer the person to medical personnel if necessary. Don't put like aloe vera or something like that on a heat burn because it's going to like make the heat stay, or not the heat burn, sorry. Don't put it on a chemical burn because it's not going to do any good for the skin because it's caused by a chemical and not by heat. So check with, you know, the manufacturer, look at your SDS chart, do your first aid, that kind of thing to find out just exactly what is going on there. You have heat or electrical burns. Okay, if the skin is not broken, just use ice or cold water. Keep putting it on until the pain is relieved. And then you can use a burn cream or something like that on there. If it is a second-degree burn, do not break that blister. Don't put any kind of an ointment or a cream unless it's specifically made for the burns. If the skin is broken or if the burn is worse than that, then go to the doctor. If it is worse than that and you have like clothing or something stuck in it, don't Don't remove it. Don't clean the wound. Just get them straight to the doctor. Cover it with a clean cloth and go straight to the doctor. You may have heard of someone that says to put like butter on a burn, or like maybe some petroleum jelly like Vaseline or something on a burn. But these products should never be applied to a burn because they could trap the heat in the tissue and cause more damage by increasing the chance of an infection. So we don't want to be doing that on a burn there. If someone is choking, you want to determine if this victim can speak or cough or get sufficient air. Do not interfere with the victim's attempt to cough because whatever that obstruction is, they're trying to get it out of their throat. If the victim cannot speak or is not getting enough air, either call 911 or do the abdominal thrust. It's not called the Heimlich anymore because I guess Dr. Heimlich said he never gave him permission to use his name. So it is called the abdominal thrust. So what you do is you stand behind the victim and you make a fist, put it in their stomach like that, and just thrust toward the victim, like perform an upward abdominal thrust on the victim by grasping the fist with the other hand and pulling it quickly toward you with an inward and slightly upward movement. Repeat if necessary. These instructions apply to victims over 1 year of age. Infants are not outlined in this lesson. So there's all 4 of them. Anyone ever had to do that? No. All right, so someone's fainting. You want to lay them down. You want to apply a cold compress on there, make sure that they have plenty of fresh air around them. Just reassure them, because usually when you faint, you're not out for like, hours. You just kind of faint and get back up. If the victim vomits, roll them on their side. Make sure that their windpipe is clear. Typically, fainting victims regain consciousness almost immediately. If it does not happen, then the victim could be in some danger and you want to call 911 as much as possible or as quickly as possible. Okay. If you have an eye injury, chemicals can get in there or it can be from some type of foreign object. But what you want to do is flush the eye, right? Hold the eyelids apart and flush them out for like a good 15 to 30 minutes. If you've ever tried to pour water in your eye for 15 minutes, it is an extremely long time and it is not fun. So you don't want to let the runoff flow into the other eye. You want to make sure that you place a gauze pad or a cloth over both eyes and secure it with a bandage and get to the emergency room as fast as possible. Okay, so make sure that you have those safety data sheets for any type of potentially hazardous product that's going to be in your shop, right? You should keep it readily available. Oh, I know he's outside. Have anything readily available, those SDS sheets, because they're going to help if you have anything in your eye. Is he here? Oh yeah, he's outside. Okay, so if there's something that you can see physically in the eye, do not try to remove it. Just make sure that you cover the eye with some gauze or something and get them to the emergency room, right? We're not going to try to take anything out of the eye. We're not going to try to remove it. We're just going to send them to the doctor. One time my daughter was at this party and a bottle got broken and she got a piece of glass in her eye. And so we're in the emergency room and we had to rinse her eye out for like those 15 minutes. They gave us this eye wash and had us stand over the sink. It's a really long time to do that. And then the doctor came in and saw like a little piece of glass in her eye. So he got these tweezers and she said it was really freaky watching the tweezer come at her eye and she wasn't supposed to blink or move or anything. So he could pull the little piece of glass out. It was
She's a trooper.
Yeah, it was quite an ordeal. I'll tell you that. It was really freaky as me standing there watching it happen. And she's just having to lay there and let it happen. It was real quick though. The doctor got it out real fast, and then her eye just cleared up. It was very, irritated. And then it cleared up within a day or so. So it actually was a real fast process. The longest part was just trying to rinse her eye out for 15 minutes. But I mean, sometimes, stuff happens. So don't try to remove it yourself. Just make sure that you do all the proper first aid at the hospital there. So, true or false? Laws that encourage people to help others in emergency situations by providing legal protection are called Good Samaritan laws.
True.
True or false? When performing first aid for bleeding wounds, elevate an injured arm or leg above the level of the victim's heart if practical. Say true. Say true. Unless bleeding cannot be controlled, never use a tourniquet. And when treating chemical burns, rinse away all traces of chemicals while moving away from any contaminated clothing. And then when treating a heat or electrical burn, immerse in cool water or gently apply a cool compress. If it is determined that a person is choking, make a thumbless fist placed just above the navel and perform an upward abdominal thrust. If someone has fainted, reassure them and make sure there's plenty of fresh air. When treating a chemical eye injury, flush the eyeball with lukewarm water for blank to blank minutes, 15 to 30. For an eye injury, do not try to remove an embedded object. And SDS, what does SDS stand for?
Safety data sheet.
Okay, yay. You guys should know that for sure. All right, I'm going to take you back here now to learning challenges. Oh. Microbiology. Let's see if Zoom will let me on this one again. Oh, now it lets me on. Okay. I'm going to sign off of this one. I want to leave. Okay.
What happened?
What's up, Junior? Miss you, bud.
Liar. Hey, you know how to pose for a long time. That's talent.
Oh, okay. Answer these questions. I see what happened. I was muted. Give me a second here. All right, did you get them? Okay. 2, non-pathogenic. 3, pathogenic bacteria responsible for all of the following except. Okay, is this the answers that you got? 4, communicable disease refers to a disease that is. Okay, those are the first 4. Let's go through the next 4. Rod-shaped bacterial cells are known as what? Rod-shaped. A bacteria, when viewed through a microscope, would appear to be spiraled. Thus forming bacterial cells that form grape-like bunches or clusters are represented in abscesses and are called.
Yeah.
Okay, remember we have a test on this on Friday. Bacterial cells that grow in pairs and are the cause of certain infections such as pneumonia. They're known as what? During which stage of growth do bacteria reproduce and grow rapidly?
The active stage? No, the growth stage.
Active. Human immuno
See.
causes the immune system to what?
Break down.
Organisms that live on or obtain their nutrients from other organisms are known as what? Disease-causing bacteria.
External parasites, right?
Disease-causing bacteria or viruses that are carried through the blood and bodily fluids are known as what? Oh, better get some blood-borne pathogens there. Which of the following actions will be considered a standard precaution? Standard precaution. What occurs,
Disinfect barbering equipment.
yeah. What occurs when the circulatory system carries bacteria and their toxins to all parts of the body?
Is it general?
Well, yes. Which type of
I want
immunity?
to. Oh, hi.
You're too close to me, Junior. That's why. That's why you're squeaking. Which type of immunity is provided when the person is given antibodies to a disease rather than producing them through his or her own immune system? Ooh, I always get those confused. Through a disease. So I'm going to say it would be passive. Probably wrong, but I always get passive and natural confused. Oh no, I got that one right. Hey, got 100 on that one, you guys. All right, so that was your microbiology. So we're going to go back now and take the one more back. Okay, that was microbiology. We're going to go back and take the infection control. Be prepared because I'm gonna give you guys a question on each one of these. I'm gonna call your name.
What happened?
I'm gonna call your name and get a question for you. All right, so Junior, you're the first one, so we'll start with you.
Thank you so much.
Removing dirt, and debris, and potential pathogens to aid in slowing the growth of pathogens is called what? Junior, you know? All right, we're gonna continue. All right. All right, Ruben. All right, Ruben, here you go.
That other one was cleaning. Miss Connie, I cannot hear you at all.
To kill certain pathogens.